Great. Really great. I hear my head's all over London. So that's good.
I mean,
Right.
you must have got used to that a bit by now, because I mean, you've already sort of had this amazing start in America, and but is it very different?
It is actually. And you know, it's funny because over there it's been a very natural, organic growth, and so actually it hasn't been. Yeah, of course. That's all right. Did we morning, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I meant. I didn't mean. I wasn't comparing it to like GMTV or anything. Just saying that there's a sun. It's quite exciting.
Cameras rolling.
I get out the way.
Yeah, I've got no sweat.
Not allowed to sweat.
Okay, sorry, that's funny.
Oh, so yeah, just going back again. Is it very different, sort of the experience here to sort of how you?
It is different. I think that but it's kind of worked out perfectly both ways. But over there, over in America, it's been a really slow, like organic build. You know what I mean? We took our time and like released an EP and stuff like that. And you know, basically, my music's been played over in America since about March 2002, and it's been great because like for about the first year, nobody knew what I looked like, and they would just listen to the music, and they didn't know if it was a band or not. So they were like, you know, it was just about the music, which is what I obviously want. And then, but what's nice is that, you know, we're moving to a second single in America and stuff like that, but the UK is so quick that when you actually do start the kind of process over here, it is like bang, 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 like I say, head all over London, face. I should say face, but someone texted me and said, your head's all over London, which I thought was kind of more funny. But and so I think it then catches up and probably takes over. I mean, I could be touring this record in America could be touring it till the end of 2006, whereas here it'll be till the end of 2005 probably.
That's what always freaks me out.
It's weird.
Music. It's kind of like, as a musician, it must be like, oh, this is so old now, but in a way, you know,
Yeah.
that's the nature of the beast.
Of the beast, exactly. Well, luckily, like I took the time to make sure I love every single song, and I'm happy to say that I haven't had a moment yet where I'm like, you know, because I genuinely like love every song, and also because they're quite different, because I threw in all my influences, you know, into the album. When I'm on stage, I'll forget what's next, and then, you know, the guys will start playing it. I'm like, oh, wicked, it's this one, you know, and they're all quite different. So, like, as much as I like to write sort of singer-songwritery ballad stuff when I'm on my own, and that sometimes comes quicker or more naturally, definitely when I'm on stage, it's more fun to do the upbeat stuff, and so it keeps it exciting, you know.
Can you remember the first time when you sort of heard your music on like the radio or something, when somebody hadn't phoned you up and going,
Right.
You know, you
Because
just like totally relaxed, and then it's like, oh my god.
it's funny because I always miss it. People are always saying, I just saw something on TV, like, and I always miss it all. But I kind of ruined it. The first time it was on the radio, I got into a car. It was the first time I had a car, like with someone driving me, you know, in LA. But I thought he was being polite and playing my EP. But actually it was on the radio. So that was the first time. And only at the end, they went, that was Gem. And I was like, oh. So I kind of ruined that one because I wasn't really aware. I just, it was like, whatever. But the first real moment, I think, I was in a Nordstrom in Seattle, and I'd never been to Seattle before. It was like a promo thing, and it's Nordstrom. I don't know if people know over here, but it's kind of like, what would it be like, John Lewis, you know, like department store. I was with a friend from the record label who, it was Sunday, he wanted to buy some shoes. I'm like, that's how well we get on. I'm like, okay. So we go into this department store, and it was the last place I would have ever expected to hear it, you know. And on came they, and, you know, it was just hysterical because I was mid-sentence with the girl in the shop, and I was like, she looked up at the ceiling, and I was like, I know this. And then I was like, oh my God. But I found it so hysterical, I just kind of started laughing, and then I went bright red, and then I kind of left the store. So it was funny though.
Oh, I always dream of that happening, but no, it's never going to happen to me.
You never know.
But let's just take a slight step back in time, and because to me it's like the most exciting period I would imagine must have been when you actually decided to leave Cardiff and
Right.
go to the States. That must have been.
I'm trying to think what was most.
In a way, because I can remember the first time I went to New York, and I was just like, you know, I didn't
New York.
and I was still like, oh my God.
Right.
It's bigger, better, everything. anything than I could ever imagine.
Do you know, it's weird because there's been constant like growth and challenges, and I mean, I kind of moved from Wales, dumped my stuff in Oxford in my mum's spare room, as you do, and then was in London for a year. So I kind of came from London, and I think I'd been sort of struggling trying to get a deal for so long that it was more like, you know what, I'm off to America, I've had it. So I wasn't like, well, I kind of was like, America, here we come, but it was more, I was just so wanted to get this record deal. I think that probably when I knew that in America, I dropped a demo off at a radio station, and I remember being in New York with nowhere to stay, speaking to a friend to see if I could stay at his house, and finding out that they'd started playing it on the radio. And I think for me, that was like huge. And that was the moment that I literally was in an airport. I couldn't tell anyone because I was on my own, but I was waiting for my bags. Really, that was like, you know, because it was America and on the radio, and all I'd wanted was to know that people would like the music. But unless you get signed, you can't get past that point. And luckily there's a radio station out there, and there is generally in America, where they'll play stuff even if you're unsigned, and then you get public response and you're like, wicked. But, you know, I mean, it was, I think when I moved, I don't think it's weird. I only really moved like now, like this year. That was more of a just on a whim, getting on a plane. It was definitely exciting.
Yeah. And fruitful as well, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
Yeah, totally.
Lots of different people.
It was kind of an adventure. I think it was, you only live once, you know, and I just thought, well, I wanted to live there anyway, but this was more when I wasn't really living there. I was like staying with friends. But it was more exciting because actually the first night I got to New York at that time, my sister had said, go and stay with my friend, he'll have a wicked pad, he always does, blah, blah, blah. I turn up, I've never met him, and actually it was, he had 15 Israeli guys. It was him and 15 Israeli guys, I swear. And I turn up and it's a 2-bedroom apartment, and I saw something run across the floor, and I was like, you know what? It's an adventure. Just relax. This is fine. And all I remember was the first 4 names because he went Tarzan, Puff Daddy, Gandhi, and I don't remember actually the other one, but that was the first of 50. It was like, what was his name? Omer. But anyway, it was like, it's stuff like that, you know. It was the stuff that you remember actually, you know, just crazy, you know, stuff. I don't know. It was funny.
Because I guess people, just setting the scene a bit, because you actually co-wrote Madonna's track "Nothing Fails."
Yeah.
I mean, is that something that's easy for you to sort of to write for other people, or I mean, when you write a great track like that, which obviously
Right.
it was, and then to give it away, and did you know
Yeah.
you were writing for Madonna at the time?
No, I think interestingly, I love writing songs all the time, and I'll definitely write some things that I think, you know, I'd love to pass that on to someone else because it's not right for me to sing. So that's fine. If it comes out as something that I go, oh, I love that, but I'd love to hear someone else sing it, that's fine. And interestingly, with the Madonna song, Guy Sigsworth, when I was working with him, and he'd just been working with her, he was writing a song for his wife, and he got stuck. He said, you know, I got stuck after the first verse. Do you want to write the rest? So I always felt like it was his song and that I was helping him. You know, it didn't feel like mine. I just thought, oh, I really like that song. Hopefully he'll want to do something with it. But it wasn't one of my kind of like core tracks. And actually, if it was, I think I would keep it. I mean, it would be a very tough decision, obviously. But I mean, luckily that hasn't come into play. You know, I've been asked before for one of my tracks that I feel is very much mine, and I've said no. But it was, you know, someone that wasn't as tough a decision, you know what I mean? But ultimately, yeah, I mean, that whole thing was amazing, and it still hasn't sunk in. Like, I can't comprehend it for some reason. It won't. Like, I think I need to hear her sing it or something.
Madonna?
Yeah, just in my lounge, obviously. No, I mean, I missed the last tour, so yeah, but I mean, hopefully, you know, it'd be nice to meet her. I'm sure I will in the future.
So taking another step forward, when did things really start coming together? As you know, and the album suddenly started becoming a reality. And,
Right.
And you know, the tracks were sort of.
It's been like a really wicked process actually, because it's not like, you know, some people. It's like I wrote all the songs over a period of like, you know, the first one I had in like '99, just before I used to run a record label, and just before I left, you know, I went to a studio and got the basic Finally Woken track, you know. So it took a while, but it was just like, because I write all the time, and then at the end I just group them all together, you know. And I think that it's weird. It was just all about the record deal. You know, I had all the songs floating around, but it was just about getting that, and then I kind of brought them all in and decided what I really wanted and what I wouldn't skip, because I just wanted to make an album that I loved. And they were all there except for Flying High and 24, which was a bit of a classic because it came in literally a week before the mix. It was like the album was done, but I heard a backing track coming out of my brother's bedroom, and I was like, give me that track. I just wanted it. I knew, but he has a band with my older sister, so he's like, no, I think I'm going to keep it. No, I've got a record deal, so I should have it. I was pulling rank. But yeah, so that was a fun one because it was inspired by the TV show. And so, yeah, which I love. And I was watching that at the time on DVD, and I had this backing track, and it was like a bit like that. The ideas merged. But so they kind of came, together like that.
A nice segue in there. You mentioned Brothers.
Can I stop you for 1 sec? Is that okay? Doesn't matter. I think my nose is running while it is. Yes.
You mentioned your brother's bedroom there, and then obviously on the notes at the back, you mentioned it's all the vocals.
Yeah.
Is that
yeah,
true?
It's totally true. And actually, it's not like I had a really bad budget or anything. It was that I'd learned, like, over the years, how to use a studio and how to engineer, which has been really good for me. And definitely when I did the demos, I did them all in my mum's spare bedroom because that's where I was living, the vocals, that is. But then when I came to the album, I was like, right, I'm going to get an engineer. I don't want to have to go through all that because it takes ages, And then I started doing it with my brother, actually, like, hired him to do it. And I realised that actually I was just being very aware of the time, because, like, someone's there and, and so in the end I was like, okay, I'm going to have to do this myself just because I know what I want to choose and I know how to engineer, So I basically, it just allowed me to take more time and to get exactly what I wanted. And so, yeah, like, basically all of them except for 2, I think, were done. One happened to be done in New York, and one was done in a school in Wales that had a lottery grant. And it's funny because I never thought that would end up on the album. It was like a demo I did ages ago. But Yoad, who I was co-producing with, he was like, no, I love those vocals, But all the others are, in my bedroom, but also when I did the OC, a song for the OC, that was funny because I did them in my lounge, and by weird coincidence, the OC, it was like a Saturday, we had 2 days to produce the track, it's Paul McCartney's Maybe I'm Amazed, and like I turned on the TV and the OC was on, and I'm like, okay, this is cheesy, but they want me to make people cry, I'm going to get into it, so I watched it, and then I basically sang to the tube, because I lived at Stamford Brook, and like I just sang these vocals to the tube, but it doesn't matter where you are if you've, most of the album was recorded on a microphone I bought literally years ago that was £89. It's like a Sennheiser mic, and basically I was actually singing the OC song just going, what is up today with my vocals, because they were just sounding amazing, and I don't know what it was. I almost thought it was like the mic, but just shows you can, that you can make an album that, it doesn't have to have all the frills. If you, I just did it with a laptop, this little mobile I own, and a microphone. It's wicked.
I was just going through the extremes. I was watching this program on the Spice Girls and how it happened, and they were saying, because none of them have got great voices, and they were saying, well, how did you actually manage to get the...
What, they said that? Surely not.
The producer, and he basically, you get them to sing it like 50 times.
Right, and then you get
the... take each,
right.
word, and you patch it all together.
Oh, no, it's awful. Yeah, no, there is total different ways. It's funny, like, there's a million different ways, and I've definitely worked with people in the past where I've found that weird because, like, I like sort of, again, sometimes you can't take a whole take. Sometimes you cut it in half, I've never taken word for word. Just because, no, I know. No, but I'm talking about it. It's an interesting thing because people never know how. But funnily enough, I have worked with, people who do that. And then you notice that actually for them, it's actually a skill of using, like, technology. And it's actually not them. It's kind of like, it's a different headspace, because, like, for me, I really like look at Ella Fitzgerald and people like that and Billie Holiday, and it's stuff like, being a bit offbeat, it's natural and it's kind of like adds to it. But, I have kind of learned that everyone does things different ways, and and there's something. It's okay, it's okay to do it whatever way you do it. But yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I hear a lot about stuff like that. There's a lot of like, I had a funny experience when I did the Madonna song, because sometimes I actually sound, it's called like comping when you chop vocals, and sometimes I would like say, like, we've got to change the edit because it sounds comped, like you can hear it. And, I'd go in and they're like, Jem, that's how you sang it. You just sound like you, and like sometimes I'll just sing naturally, like I've, like I don't know what it is, whether it's a breath or something, but like I've spliced two things together, and I haven't. It's really annoying. Because I heard something like that the other day on something, and I'm like, I know I sang it like that, but I'm like, oh no, what people think of it. But then you have to just know what you've done and not worry about that.
It's all good. It's
Yeah.
all good. Believe me, you only need to look at your press and it's all good.
Thanks. Yeah, no, it is all good at the moment.
It's a good time when I put a CD on in the office and people like kind of stop and go, oh, who's that?
Oh, it's good to know.
That happened for you.
That's really cool.
And then even better, after somebody started going,
That's really funny. Yeah, but that's funny. When I was in LA, when they first played the song, I heard they played Finally Woken, the demo on the radio, and then I heard they played it twice, and then I got the email of the guy, Nick Harcourt, who pretty much, I owe everything to some degree, except for my mum, obviously, for having me. But anyway, and I emailed him and I was like, if you play that one more time, be careful, because it'll stick in people's heads. I do. Yeah, I mean, I like hooks, you know what I mean? And I've grown up listening to lots of different music, but a lot of pop music, like the Beatles and stuff like that. I've never studied it, but actually, if you write a chorus, it's kind of, that's what comes out of my head. It's just what happens, and it comes out, and it's kind of repeated until you hate me. But that's okay, I don't mind.
I think a lot of people are going to hate you, but in a good way.
I hope so.
So enough of my meandering. Let's talk about They.
Yes.
So tell me a bit about They. Was that one of the first tracks you wrote?
They was, let me think. Finally Woken was the first one. It was probably, I wrote They in 2001. I wrote it at the same time as Come On Closer. It's actually just before 9/11. It was that week, the week before. And it's a fun one. That basically I stole my dad's vinyl. First of all, I had this vinyl of the Swingle Singers singing Bach. It's like a prelude in F minor or something like that, major. And basically he'd written his name on the back, so I knew it was his, because I often buy stuff from jumble sales, but it's 1966 and his name, so sorry, Dad. But anyway, I took the record in, so I had this sample. I went to New York, I was working with Ge-Ology, and I took it in and we like chopped it up and put a beat over it, and then I was on the tube, on the subway, trying to work out what to write about, and then I decided to write, it just came out of my head because years ago I'd read a book about New York, and I was going to New York and I was quite young, and it said, do not look at people in the eye on the subway, and this is totally true. And I read it and went, okay, don't look at people in the eye because I might get shot or something, so I go to New York and I go on the subway and I'm really scared and I'm just staring at my feet. I honestly remember I was just like, I would not look at anyone. I was really scared. And then so years later I'm working with Ge-Ology, I'm going to Brooklyn on the F train every day, and I'm looking around thinking, this is totally fine. Like, I practically live here, and I remembered that. So I thought, I'm going to write a song about the things that they say, because we all do it all the time. Like, oh, well, they say don't eat after 6, or don't eat cabbage, or don't put that in your hair, or don't, go to, I went to Turkey recently and I came back, I went on my own just for a break, and I came back and someone went, oh, you went to Turkey on your own, but it's so dangerous, and because of all the men and all this. And I was like, my God, if you'd have told me that before, actually, I might not have gone, because I didn't know where to go, and I did, and I just went Turkey, it was wicked, it was absolutely great. And so that was kind of after, but it was interesting that I wrote a song about the things, they say that we listen to, you don't question, and they kind of limit you, I mean, some things that they say are very relevant and sensible, and of course you shouldn't do some things like maybe walk around on your own at 4 a.m. as a girl in London, some dodgy place. But there's a lot of things that you say that you don't even think about. And that's why I sort of say I'm sorry that we live like this, because the bigger effect of it is that it can limit you, and it's not so good way. It's not really a good way to live,
It's so true, actually. I mean, I look back and okay. There's common sense and there's like, you know, if it's going to kill you, then yeah, fine.
Yeah.
But, you know,
And kind of past that, you know what? If you end up, I mean, if you're gonna, it's a weird thing to say, but you know, like I was on a plane with my sister once, and we were watching the Fahrenheit, the first documentary by,
Bowling for Columbine.
yeah, sorry, Bowling for Columbine, yeah, and it's like, yeah, if you don't know if you're gonna get shot or blown up or anything, but if it's gonna happen, you know, you don't need to spend your life worrying about it. You know, I think it was kind of like the whole thing, like on a bigger level, is that the fear thing that's talked about in that documentary. You know, it's like all about, it's kind of limits you. It's like, you know, so that was kind of what it's about. But funny enough, when we did the production, you know, it's actually got a wicked backing track. It's very up. And so it's weird, but when, like, I watched Captain Corelli's mandolin, funny enough, like a week before doing the album. So there's loads of mandolins everywhere because I love the mandolin. And luckily I saw that film because I was like, oh, mandolins, you know, put them in. And so they kind of make it really, it's a beautiful instrument. And in the chorus there's loads of mandolins. And it's a weird mix, basically. And then we found these crazy kids, you know, on a CD. And we were like, we can't put them in. What on earth is that? It's got nothing to do with anything. And then we couldn't take them out because we loved them so much. And now I love them. But anyway, what a weird song, but I love it. So it's odd.
I love it too.
Yeah, it's
great,
fun.
You know, I mean, I really like They. I love Finally Woken.
And all the rest are rubbish.
The rest are pretty crap actually. Baseball was great. You know, I mean, it's like, it's all good, as I say. There's a little love.
It's like that.
There's
Thank
a little
you.
love going on.
Thank you.
And again, the title track, fantastic.
Finally Woken.
Yeah.
That was one of those magic, beautiful ones that literally fall straight into your head from the universe or wherever. I don't know. Like, you know, I keep aligning myself with great people like Paul McCartney, whoever. But you know, like, you know, he said that yesterday came in his sleep or whatever. But you know, I think most songwriters say the same, that when the songs just come like melody and lyrics at once, it's like they're always usually the best, you know, and that was really nice like that. And yeah, that's like, I wanted to name the album Finally Woken because I just love the title, you know, the name, and it just came out when I wrote that song, and it's kind of like, I really like it.
So when you sort of
Takes
like,
me back.
you're covering something like Paul McCartney's Nothing Fails, I mean, do you get any not nerves, but because, you know, you've got to
No.
respect something in a way.
Do you know what's funny? Someone asked me that the other day, and this is odd. Like, I'd never heard Maybe I'm Amazed, but everyone in America has, and they were like, what? And I was really embarrassed, you know, but I know loads of Beatles songs and Paul McCartney songs, you know, obviously they're amazing, but I didn't know it, and so the OC thing was fantastic, for getting to know that song, but I think that because I didn't know it, I didn't have that thing, whereas Yoad, who I was co-producing with, totally was like, this is like God, you know, Paul McCartney. So I was there just going, I don't know about, maybe we should do something with this arrangement here, there, you know, just because we had to do what we had to do, you know, and then, like, Paul McCartney's version is incredible, and they wanted me to make people cry, so we're trying to, you know, and Yoad's like, it's like he can't say anything, but it was nothing, you know, rude. Obviously, the song is amazing, and I'm absolutely honoured to get to do it, and like, I'm so glad they asked me because I'd never have known it, you know. But definitely if it had been yesterday or something, yeah, I don't know what, that would be, it would be difficult, but then it'd be a challenge. I quite like a challenge, so, you know.
Absolutely. So going back to your statement, so what was the mix that
Oh, the mix that sent me mad.
Yeah.
All I can say is by probably the third day, I was like drinking sake at probably noon. Like, I had to calm myself down. It was, I think that the combination of all, I don't know how many sort of artists or whatever, I hate that word, the talent, like sit in the mix, but I'm very involved in things, and it's just the way I am, you know. I wanted to be there, and so it's just you know, in the olden days, so I've heard, like in Motown and stuff like that, they would like literally cut the records while they're standing there, and that's why the mix is like really interesting on those, actually, because you've got vocals over there and guitars over there, you know what I mean, panned, and like, and some vocals are really loud, and anyway, because they literally go done, cut it, you know, done. But like nowadays, you know, you still don't have much time because it's expensive, but you sit there and you're literally, I mean, I'm there going, this is my commitment of my record forever, you know, and you know, I co-produced it, so I know everything that's in there, and it's all down on each thing. And you know, is the snare drum too loud? Are the backing vocals too loud? It's like actually when you make an album, it's fascinating because you say what makes a song, and you go, oh, the melody, or the lyrics, and then you go, or the bass line, or the drums, you know, or the snare drum, or the hi-hat, and it gets very anal. And ultimately, that's kind of, I don't know, like I kind of pay attention to detail. And so in the mix, as much as I loved it, and now it's been ages, so actually I'm looking forward to when we do the next mix, because there's something nice about it as well. You listen to it a million times and it's blasting, and then it's really quiet, and you know, and it's fun, but it's really stressful, like so yeah, I kind of sedated myself, you know.
Yeah, you're key to a great album. Lots of sake and cookies by the sound.
Yeah, like basically, yeah, except I kind of got food poisoned mid-mix, actually, and we couldn't work out where it was from. But I didn't say anything the whole time, like, but I remember, like, Ge-Ology was quite lucky because one night I got very quiet and, like, lay on the sofa and just listened. And he was probably like, oh, thank goodness. But no, it was, like, really fun. And it was nice for me to, you know, like, my influences are all in the album, but interestingly, like, the beat side of things, you know, I love dance music and hip-hop and stuff. And I always wanted to make an album where if you take the vocal off, the songs, the backing, like the bass and the beats and everything, stand up as like really cool, head nodding like tracks. And you know, I was even like shocking myself when we were in the studio because you start with the drums first. You know, for ages when Yoda was just mixing the drums, I was like, this is amazing. I wish I could bring in like, you know, the RZA. Go check it out. But obviously once you layer on my vocals and everything, it makes it more sort of pop. But it's nice to hear it mixed like that.
Trip hop.
Or trip hop. Yeah, when I started, I created like Mo Hop, which is like Motown and hip hop mix, but basically I'm not really soul because my voice is too soft, you know, and I'm not Aretha Franklin, so I was like, damn, but it's a good term. But yeah, trip hop, someone said that, that's really funny. Fine, you know what, whatever anyone wants to say, as long as they listen to it, I'm happy.
As long as you don't turn into, is it, what was it, Anastasia said?
I know what?
What's that? She made up something, you gotta go.
In a minute.
And she came up with this.
Term? What was it?
What was it? Oh God, it's gonna kill me. And I was just like, because she's very sincere.
Right.
Very, very, very sincere. And oh God, not frock. Oh, it's got rock in it.
I thought it's called something like frog rock or something.
And I felt like saying, yeah, a crock. A crock of shit.
But you didn't.
I just
Everyone's like,
Anyway,
enough there, honey, because we need to
yeah,
That's really
if
funny.
I could just get you to do
a drop or a liner, an ID, of course.
and it's hi, I'm Aretha Franklin.
Yeah. I'm Mariah Carey.
Hi, I'm Jen, and you're watching Entertainment Now.
Okay. Hi, I'm Jem, and you're watching Entertainment Now. Did I look up too soon?
No, it's fine.
Victor,
No, you don't.
I could do another one if you want to. It's up to you.
So it's full point.
You're Mr. Camera.
Okay.
Should I do it again?
Straight in the camera.
What was it, Entertainment Now?
Yeah.
Hi, this is Jem, and you're watching Entertainment Now. I think the first one might be better.